Hello traders, this is Bulldozer Investing. Today is January 4th, 2021. I wish everybody Happy New Year's. We are in 2021, first day of trading. It is 4:03 right after the closing on Monday. So let's review what happened and what we predicted and what actually happened. On last couple of our videos, I did mention that VIX looks a little bit on the go, and I had some predictions on the VIX that basically told me that the market in overall the first 2 weeks of January is going to be very volatile and on the downside, as we warned the investors last two videos. I've said that don't worry about how the year closes, it's all about how it opens, and a lot of people are pumped up with stimulus and we're getting checks and market is going to be better this year. Until the inauguration, I think it's on the 20th of January, we will see very volatile markets. And in fact, I'm really puzzled with two things. One is that the inauguration and end of January, basically all the big cap tech sectors are going to also give out earning reports. It is really puzzling right now. Either we're going to hit 4,000 or we're going to hit 325, like 325, around there. Okay, so 4,000, which even like right here, I would say like 400 maybe around SPY right here. And then if we do fall down with inauguration and all the coronavirus news and blah blah blah, we might see this level of 32.55, 54, 55, around there. So we'll see where it goes, but how do we know where it goes? That's the thing, right? We know where it can go up and we know where it can go down. That's where we check VIX. As I've said, and I'm surprised that a lot of the technical people out there, they're giving they're drawing some channels and stuff, and they pump people and say, oh, we're flying, we're gonna hit this, we're gonna hit that. Based on what? I mean, I don't know what these people are talking about. Based on what? Like, they're expecting things to go like 100%, 50% up. These are large cap stocks, guys. I mean, at least give accurate times, okay? Like, I've seen some videos, I've seen some reviews. I always check, what other people are thinking. They're giving like February, Nvidia is gonna go up 60%. Like, I'm like, get out of here. You guys need to be very careful with these people and always be cautious, especially when the times are difficult. You want to make sure that you're reasonable, and you always have like an insurance. What do I mean by that? You want to make sure you have some sort of puts or VIX, UVXY calls or something like that, right, on the side, just in case. I'm not saying, so we predicted perfectly right off when it was Thursday last week, before either it was Wednesday and Thursday. I kept saying that by first week, and this is when VIX was right here, by the way, when I saw these candles and I saw that the 20 moving day average was pretty supportive right here. We hit the bottom of the channel, came back up. So I was like, you know what, when in the first 2 weeks, if VIX hits this top bottom of the cloud and even more to this channel, which I said would be extreme, and we did that in like 2 days. Okay, I said expect a sell-off the first 2 weeks of January. Now it reached, and by the way, I did not play with this line, guys. This is as it was from the last video, and you can go ahead and check out my video and match the lines. This is I mean, to the cent, to the point, okay, to the point where I said that VIX most extreme would hit the top of the channel, which I've said that it might hit like the first 2 weeks, but we did that in like 2 days when we were right here, okay, and I won two trading days. And I said I wouldn't be surprised if VIX the first couple of weeks, if we're at 26, which we closed above that. Okay, now this is my forecast. I would not be surprised if we get a fast rally, which I'm going to show the SPY level in a second. If we do get a very fast recovery rally and VIX drops back to the 20 SMA right here, like 23s, 22s, and eventually test the bottom of this channel. Okay, because it was such a sudden move, which is better for the markets, because I thought that it would just grind up slowly, which will kill, you know, all the market overall. However, I'm still seeing the internals as bullish. That's one thing that's, you know, really scaring me right now. And let's look at the MACD. And MACD looks like it's recovering. So overall, I do think that VIX still has, you know, I think the markets will see violent drops, but not yet until we test this bottom of the channel. Now, why am I saying that? It's because, as you can see, this is a rounding bottom. Like, we're not able to, if we break the bottom of this channel, then we're going all the way down to fill this gap on the VIX, okay? Which means the market then will head to 4,000, but we'll see that at end of January. However, for now, our closed term prediction is that we'll see a quick recovery, test the SMA, 20-day moving average, and eventually bottom of the channel, and we'll reevaluate. But however, VIX right now, stochastics covered, MACD covered, RSI is doing good, so, and it's bottoming out, okay, for the long term. So let's wait and see kind of game, but I'm saying for the first, you know, 1 or 2 trading days, we will see a violent drop on the VIX, which will cause a run on SPY. So now let's go ahead and look at the SPY, where we would go, okay? As we predicted, I said we might finish I drew this line and I said we might finish the year above this, but I don't know. I'm kind of worried with the VIX, and I think we might see some drops, and it did. And if you draw this channel right here, it was right here. So I would say the worst case scenario, SPY might come down to 358. Now, not tomorrow. Tomorrow and the next few days, we're going to see a rally. And that rally will test this channel, this line here, which is 372, 373 area, and maybe for the next couple of days, and we're definitely going to test 377, 78 areas. Okay? Then we'll see those violent drops, as I'm predicting, because the VIX is rounding bottom right now. Like, it's not doing lower lows. It's actually has a pretty good support on that 23, 22 area. So we'll see, but the short-term prediction, we're going to retest 372 and 377, 78 area. Okay. Now let's look at the individual tickers. Apple. Now, again, I don't like to say as we predicted. I mean, it's going to make me look like, you know, I predict everything. No, but some of the technical readings were so obvious, and I kept warning people when we were at, you know, 138.79, 139. I said that's when I sold my calls, and I said this is when we were sitting at 138 when we closed that day. I warned everybody on Twitter. I said, okay, I'm expecting Apple to come down, and I drew this box right here, which we closed right at the bottom, which is very technical, guys. The drop was at 78.60 on the fib, touched, and then closed right on the fib of 61.80. Okay, this is a very technical drop. Now, again, I expected VIX to come back down a little because it was a violent spike, and I said that SPY might retest 373, 377 areas for the next few days. Apple will go ahead and retest its, 132, 133 areas. So let's reevaluate that. If we do this drop right here, yep, it would go between 132.7 to 134 area. So let's draw that rectangle. So on the way up, so people might, and that's why I draw these boxes, because people might say, oh, you say you did it, but where are the boxes? So there you go. So what we're going to do here is I'll delete this fib line. So now the bounce will come back up all the way to, I think, 132.93, 133. That area is reasonable. So the weekly 130 calls or the January 15, like 135 calls seems reasonable, which I got in 35%, got out. Okay. So again, that was live on Twitter. Please don't forget to follow us on Twitter. Bulldozer Investing, and also on YouTube. Subscribe and give us a like. All these predictions and forecasts, you'll get them every day. Okay. Apple, like I said, bounced off perfectly. This is just machines playing it because it can't be this. And I drew this last week when we were up here. I said I drew this box, and I honestly didn't know that we would touch 126 area, but during the day, right above this 50 fib line, I said hold on, even though it touched our area, the top of the box. I said hold on because I expect more drop coming. And right at the bottom, I said VIX topped out, expect SPY to move up, and I said Apple just bounced off of his 78.60, get in. Okay, that was perfect call, perfect timing. Everything was technical to the point. Now we've discussed further things. Well, before I get to Alibaba and all those things like blinks, further how we predicted and how things happen, let's move on to Moderna, because what happened is I like how the RSI is now turning and the stochastics is playing out perfectly. MACD is still not ready yet. MACD is always slower, so you might want to take position now. But I am kind of liking Moderna right here. I believe that it's going to start rounding, and then the resistance for this is 121.57. We get more cases coming. All the shots, the vaccinations are going to load up and so forth. So let's see how that plays, but I like the technicals, the stochastics and RSI. MACD is also about to turn out. I believe this has a way to go to 121.92 and eventually test the 20 SMA around 137 top of the cloud. Okay. And is it reasonable? Let's draw a box, and it's reasonable to say that it might fill this gap right here. It is not, and again, I'm not like giving that, oh guys, we're gonna go 100% above in 2 months, buy calls type of thing. Everything is reasonable. It's trying to hang above the 50-day moving average. It's reasonable to test this cloud bottom or the 20-day moving average. Although the moving averages are about to cross over, I like the internals, which does sound reasonable for me to play the reversal here. So let's go ahead and draw. Yep, totally makes sense. The 50 fib is right here sitting at 137. 60 is right on the cloud. So the box area we didn't even have to draw the Fibonacci. Sometimes like your eyes are so getting used to reading charts that you don't have to draw anything. I have like a 65-year-old uncle. He's been playing the market since he's in his teens, so like 45 years. He's been playing the market. You just show him the chart. He doesn't even know how to like draw the chart, but his eyes are so used to it. It'll be like, okay, it's gonna go from here, buy it here, sell it here, because he's just so used to it. Things just come up and pop up in your eye, and you just read the chart. And that's what I'm trying to do to people by drawing these, pointing things out. Like even though people might be like, oh, the 20-day is curling down, 50 is moving up, there's going to be a bearish crossover, blah, blah, blah. But the internals are saying the exact opposite. RSI is moving up, MACD is turning over, stochastics is turning over, MACD is turning over. So things look like it's going to have a sharp reversal. Okay, so that's how you play this. All right, so Boeing. I warned everybody, again, those people that are like, go into Boeing. Boeing is going to go to 300. That's bullshit. I mean, I don't want to say the rest, but okay, when we were saying buy Boeing down here, those idiots were saying, oh, Boeing is going to crash. It's going to go down to 90. We sold Boeing above 200. Okay, we might have gotten a little out too late, but here I'll show you a Boeing chart actually where I had drawn the Boeing chart. When I drew this, as you can see where this is, right, ABC, okay, when I drew this bottoming, okay, where I said we will hit was this box right here, and look, it's dropping. Now I'll tell you where to buy Boeing. I mean, I just suggest, this is, by the way, it's education. I'm not telling you to buy and sell or anything, but I'm just saying, like, if you were to buy Boeing, I'll tell you where, where I think it will go. Again, this is solely my, prediction and educational guess, is we're going to hit 190 and below. and we'll see where that holds. And it might hit even tomorrow or within this week, and we'll see how that holds. But again, where were these people when we were yelling to buy Boeing around 140s, 148, 150, 148? It kept going down, and it said just keep on averaging. And I said this is where I'm predicting it will go. I drew this, back when it was November or before November. In fact, when I said I thought this was flagging and it just kept crashing, just kept averaging, I said that's fine. That's fine because we're going to do a double bottom, and it was a lower low actually, but I didn't get scared because I knew by November Boeing was going to have some news. Stochastics are not totally ready yet. Like stochastics is still curling down, and then the MACD is still curling down. That's why I feel like the buying point will be around 190. Okay, just give it a wait here. We'll see how that goes, but that's where I thought it would go, and that's where it went. And don't chase those clowns that tell you to keep on buying, keep on buying. Market doesn't go up forever or down forever. You just have to be reasonable. Check the internals, check the externals, check the daily moving averages, check out the gaps, check out the Ichimoku cloud, check to see if there's ABC pattern, and then we'll work things out, okay? But right now, I believe that in the long term, 2021 is going to be a little, bit different from 2020. I mean, in a sense that we might have violent drops and then pick up. That might look similar, actually, but don't expect the late 2020s to continue on 2021 because there's lots of political attentions. Iran is building uranium, increasing their capacity to 20% and by 20%. China is going through all this political drama. We'll get to Alibaba right now, actually. We don't know where Jack Ma is. And all these crazy things are happening. And look what happened. And look what happened. If you did chase those clowns and say, it's going to go up, it's going to go up, what happened here? Are we surprised? Look where I drew this box. Did it hit? Yes. Did it close the gap? Yes. Will it bounce a little? Yes. It'll probably bounce with the market moving. It'll probably bounce. Remember last week on that video, I said don't chase if you're too late. Like I said, don't chase it here. And I've explained why people, buy high and sell low instead of buying low and selling high. This will go. I'm sorry, 1 second. I just get so frustrated sometimes. This might go ahead and test the 61% right here back to this yellow box. But my prediction, honestly, if you ask me, even though the technicals are heading back to the yellow box area, my gut, my instincts say that this will still go down and test a lower low. And then we'll reevaluate. But the technicals say it can have a bounce from here. Because it filled the gap. It still didn't touch the fib line, but let's see if it did fully. Yep, dropped to 50%, right above the 60.8, 61.8. Yep, it did drop to the areas that it should have. Now, if we see a bounce and test, 238.65, I wouldn't be surprised. And even the yellow box here bouncing back, I wouldn't be surprised. But would I get in? No. It's probably going to test the bottom of the cloud. Would I get in? No. I would not get into BABA. That's, I just wanted to show you how to play these bounces. You don't buy here because then you'll be in pain and you'll probably sell here. Then it's going to bounce back and you're going to just pull out your hair and say, why everything I buy so high and sell low? It's because the FOMO kicks in and you think it's going to go up forever, or when the depression kicks in and you're like, oh my God, I'm just going to go bankrupt and sell at the place where you should buy. Okay? So we covered BABA. I'm sorry I'm a little chatty, but I'm kind of excited that everything that I've been saying so far is hitting spot on. Okay? Blink, speaking of spot on, Blink. What did I say? Watch my videos, guys. Watch my videos, subscribe. You're not going to pay anything out of your pocket. I'm not going to make anything actually, but just to have you this educational, journey. Am I winning on my trade? No, PLTR, I'll get to it. I'm losing money, but I'm teaching you the psychology of losing and psychology of winning. Okay, but what did we say? I said probably hit. I said it hit the box. Now don't get excited. You'll get in. Don't get excited because what it's going to do is it's going to go up. It's going to do a fake. Let me do this 1 hour. Where did I draw this? Let's do 4 hours. Okay. I said it might do a fake breakout right here. Look, focus on this trend line right here. I said it'll bounce from here, do a fake breakout, have people buy it, and then it'll drop back more violently towards where the pitchfork is and also at the bottom of the cloud. And now look at this. And now look at this. Where was the support? Bottom of the cloud. Will this go up? I believe so. I believe that if it goes over the pitchfork, I believe that it would probably try to test the 43. Would I get in? No. I'd probably not get in here because it looks like a head and shoulder play. I believe that it might test 34s and eventually it bottom out around 30s. The cloud did not turn in red yet, so we'll wait, but I believe there's going to be a bounce. What the market is going to bounce anyways in a couple of days. And that bounce will probably push it back to 43. If shorts get squeezed out, most likely 47. Now, again, when I say eventually in the long run it's going to get the 30s, I'm not talking about, next day it's going to get the 30. No, you might see a violent bounce with the market. It might go over the 50-day moving average and even test the cloud, but eventually it's going to follow this red trend line, okay? Where we would probably, and this is 4 hours, where we would probably have a squeeze out eventually going like this. Let me change the color to this. So do you guys now can see the patterns of what's going to go on? And I said eventually like the 30s, which is right here. And it might go back up. The cloud might come down here, test the cloud, break, and then go eventually to the 60s. Okay? But that's later. Let's just worry about that later. For now, we're focused on bouncing back, sharp rally to 42, then 46 maybe, but eventually it's going to be a fake breakout again, and then retest these levels. Okay? We'll see how that plays out, but we've been correct. We have been correct since here on every single move. Every top we called, okay? Everything we called on blink, it is right on spot. Right here. This is where I posted. I said the top is 53.81. That's what I posted. Look at the daily MACD is ridiculous. Stochastics is ridiculous. On the short term, yeah, short term it might look like a bounce. Right here, the MACD is curling. Stochastics is going to curl, RSI is going to pick up on the 4 hours, but on the daily, look at this MACD, look at this stochastics, look at this RSI. So sometimes you focus in so much, you zoom in so much, you miss out what's going to happen after. It might have a violent drop and test the cloud here as well, but I just want to follow this trend right here. Okay, I told you about the fake breakout, bounce back, hit our prediction. Now it's going to try to hit this again, 42 area, and then bounce back down violently. Okay, but let's talk about that afterwards. Now let's look at trade desk, something that I'm going to watch from now on. Oh, are we surprised? Well, I didn't. I probably drew this to myself, but I didn't cover trade desk. On the daily, it looks really nice, but it still has time. I'd say give it a week or two. Are we surprised? Are we surprised? I am not, because it's probably going to hit again somewhere in between the 50 and 61 fib retracement, somewhere around 700, like 730. I would even wait for 700 flat, just in case, because this gap right here, there's two gaps that it might potentially fill. One is here, and this is way like, I mean, I don't know. This might not happen, but if it tests the bottom of the cloud, then it might. So it did reach our first target. So let's delete that. I mean, it did reach my target, not our target, because I've predicted that to myself. I didn't really share it. Bounced perfectly right off the fib line. Okay, 50 fib line. Now it retested the 50. The moving averages are curling down, which is not a good news. So if you were to try to invest and stay long on this, I'd say like put let's say like easy to calculate out of 10,000. I'd probably put 3,000 here, and then go maybe another 4,000 here, and just wait in case if things go really bad down the south, then you have more dry powder to pitch it. Okay. But Trade Desk is a good company. I've not followed the news. I'm just checking the technicals of why it dropped so much. Maybe because all the Fastleys, Trade Desks, Snows, Palantirs, all those high flying stocks, Blinks, they took the money. They took the money. Okay. Now, of course, I want to also talk about NEO afterwards, but one more stock that I want to cover is Mgni. Okay. Now, there's a lot of people are saying good things about this stock. Just like Palantir, it was on a symmetrical triangle and it broke down just like Palantir. The internals are too overbought. Okay. Even though after the sell on the daily, the internals are still overbought. Now, if you look at the hourly, internals are oversold. So you might see a quick reaction bouncing to $30. Now I don't want to prove myself every time, but let's go ahead and draw this. So it might bounce back to 30 bucks, 30, 50s around there, and then continue its downtrend. Because if you look at the 4 hours and the daily, it's still in the overbought territories. I mean, even 4 hours looks a little better. Like it looks good. In fact, like it did get a support right on the top of the cloud. Worst case, I would say if you're like a bottom feeder, bottom fisher, worst case scenario here. Why am I not able to draw? Come on. There you go. This will be a good support area. We'll see how that reacts again. The averages are curling. The 20 is curling down. The 50 is moving up. So that's like iffy. I'm not 100% sure because it could happen something like this. You see this violent drop, getting support at 50, dropping, getting tested the cloud top, and then picking up. So we might see the same thing here. Even though the 50 is broken down, we might get a pickup, curling up, and then go to the next run. Now, since this is, I don't know the valuations of it. I don't know the fundamentals of it. Ran too much in short amount of time. We'll just have to wait and see. I will be a buyer, and I'm not saying it, people might like give me a dislike for this, and I'm not saying it's going to drop there, but I think that it would be reasonable for if I want to make an investment for this company right here, like right on this. This will be my buying area. And I'll tell you the reason why. I don't like the FOMO. I don't want to, and it's still continuing, and it might even come down on the daily, might even come down to 24.34. But if I want to get in for the longer term, I don't want to like buy it high and average it down, which I did the same mistake on the Palantir because that symmetric triangle looks so perfect. So speaking of Palantir, let's go. Now, technicals are pretty much broken down. Lost the 20-day. I know it's a new stock, so it's kind of like, I don't like to do daily, but like 4 hours is okay. So on the 4 hours, everything is oversold, obviously, and the volume is declining, but we're still seeing a meltdown. Okay. To me, I believe that the company has, like fundamentally, it might be overbought, but I believe in the future. I believe in the political standpoint of this world that we will probably need more artificial intelligence and this company is probably going to get more contracts. Now, there's a lot of bashing. There's a lot of valuations of saying, oh, it's going to get to 18. It's going to get to 15. So let it get there. I don't care because I have money. I'll still buy. Okay? I really don't care how far it drops because I'm still going to buy it. Now, it might not be the same strategy for some people. If you're a daily swing trader, you're like, okay, Maxima loses 5%, stop loss, and get out. And that's why this stock has been melting down, because a lot of day traders came in for this, triangle formation, and then they're putting stop losses, and they're just taking out the stop losses and pushing this down. The 61.8 on the downturn of Fibonacci retracement, we've closed under it, which kind of worries me. But again, worst case scenario for this is 1889, and I don't give blank, because if it drops there, fine, I'll buy it more. And I believe, and I'm not going to compare this company to Facebook or anything, but it just gives me flashback memories when Facebook, I got in at 25 and it kept dropping, and I said, I don't care if it drops to 19, I'll buy it. I did. I sold at $30 some back then. So which is, if I saw the future of the company, I would have kept it. And, I always tell this to myself that at that time I got married, and I, sold Facebook because I wanted to put down payment for the house. Now that I'm thinking about it, I would have bought, I don't know how many millions of dollars I would have had anyways, but I probably would have bought 3 or 4 paid off houses for the down payment that I pulled out from Facebook and paid for down payment for my house. So this is kind of the same situation. It's like it was at $25, just like Facebook. I'm like, I don't care if it goes to 19, and guess where the Fibonacci shows is 19. The cloud bottom is at 21.35. I don't care, okay? Because I'm still going to buy it. And it's still, see, with this Palantir, I was so confident that we were going to have a bounce back, but the meltdown with this short, like very, very low volume is just so irritating. People are getting trippy about, the lockup expiration, the earnings, and so forth. So this MACD might just like kill us, drain us until 2 months. I don't care. Again, long-term investor. You want to cut your losses and go somewhere else, that's your decision. I can't do anything about it. But I don't, for these kinds of companies, I don't like to take the loss and move on, because I believe in the company. I believe in the future of the company. And I believe that where the world is today, how all this political drama is continuing, I believe that the company has more sales, more contracts, with all the, even with the vaccinations and the management, the coronavirus. We'll probably have another virus to shake off. I don't know. Like, see, this is the thing. Markets were so overbought after 2020 January. I knew something was going to come down, and I bought like the UVXY March calls at 16, and UVXY was like 14. I've sold them too early. Bought like 10 of them. Each of them was like up to $12 at one point. Would have made like 130,000 on a 1,300 insurance, basically. But anyhow, I missed that chance. But the thing I'm trying to say is that if the market tops around SPY 400, they'll find another virus. They'll find some other story, and the markets will sell off again. People made billions and billions of dollars. It was basically just a political, not political, but economic readjustments. This was going to happen anyways, and it happened. Let it be the coronavirus. It could have been something else. So I'm waiting for that market top, not ready yet. But just be careful, guys, because the VIX is bottoming out. I'll like to show VIX again. VIX is bottoming out. Unless we see a very sharp move up to 400s, it'll probably fill this gap, and then I'll probably start shorting the market carefully. Maybe like an insurance money. Maybe that 1300 I put on that UVXY call, and the UVXY went up crazy, and each of my calls, the calls that I bought at that time was worth $1.10, and then it went up to like $12 or something, each of them. I bought like 10 or 15, I can't recall. Okay. So I might just, again, see what happens, but this right here, bottoming out, and just keep on testing these, is not a good look. It's not a good look. So I'm kind of, I don't want to be a clown and cheer up and be a cheerleader, because we need to be careful. And when the market's flush, you probably not have time to get out. I'm not seeing that heavy, large volume sell-offs, and I do think the Fed is behind the market, so we're not going to see another 2020 Fed crash, but people are going to take profits, institutions are going to take profits, seeing that through ARK. Just be careful, okay? That's all for today. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and give us a like, and we'll keep the videos going. Thank you so much, and have a nice night.